welcome or welcome back to By Hook or By Needles. My name is Sam, and today I'm going to show you how to create this really pretty, very simple, very quick, I was surprised how quick, square. It is actually called the Daisy Wheel Square, and it is only 5 rounds. Now, as the little ticker down the bottom here says, the pattern actually says to start with a chain of 8 and join it with a slip stitch to create the ring. I did that and I found that a chain of 8 was really probably way too big. So I actually reduced it to a 6 chain. So just be aware of that, and maybe, for your first square, if you're going to make lots of these or something, just sort of play with it and see whether you want to do 6 or 8 or more or less. You're going to be putting 12 single crochets into it, so that's how much room it's going to need. It's going to need enough room to hold 12 single crochets. Okay, where am I going to put this? I'll put that over there. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to make my chain of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm going to flip that over behind and join, and then we're going to just chain 1. That does not count as a stitch, and we are going to put 12 single crochet into this. I think that's what it says. Yes, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can see 11 and 12, and that really just fits the 12 in quite well for me. It fits quite snugly. Yeah, and that's what I think it needs to. And I also found the chain of 8 made the hole a lot bigger too. You could get your whole finger in there if you wanted to. Not that you'd want to, but just giving you an idea of how large it actually was. So we start off with that. Nice easy start. Next, we are going to do a chain of 6. Now this is going to count as a treble and 2 chain. Now a treble is a double treble in the UK, but I work in the US format, so I'm just putting that out there. So we start with a chain of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you like, you can mark the 4th chain with a stitch marker, because that will be the chain that you will be joining to when you come back around. Now, because this counts as a stitch, that first spot there, right, looks like it's a stitch to work into. It's not. This is counted as that stitch that's in there. So don't think that that's an empty stitch. It's not. So what you need to do then is we're going to create 12 trebles separated by 2 chain each. So I've already done my treble, which is the 4 chain and the 2 chain on the top for separating. So I'm going to go straight into the next space, keeping in mind that that first little gap has already got a stitch in it, and we're going to work our treble, and then 2 chain and another treble, and we're going to do this all the way around. So we're working a treble into each of the single crochet. That was not a treble. We're going to work a treble into each of the single crochet from the previous round. So this is such a quick and easy one. I was really surprised because when I was typing out the pattern for you so that the pattern's on the page for you to have a look at, I was like, oh, gee, this sounds really complicated. And I think sometimes patterns actually, written patterns can overcomplicate it or make it seem more complicated than it actually is. And the reason why I put the written pattern down is I'm hoping that maybe people who can't read patterns or don't read patterns will be able to connect what I've written with what I'm doing. And it might just help them learn to read a pattern, because I think that's an important skill if you can manage it. Let me know if you don't like that, and I'll won't do it, because it does take an awful lot of time. And if it's not being of any use to anybody, then perhaps I should just stop doing it. Anyway, sorry, I went off on a tangent there. Yeah, so we're just going around with our trebles and our 2 chain. I don't think the square necessarily looks like a daisy, but I guess, you could class it as a sort of, I don't know, what do they call that word? What is that word I'm thinking of? Oh, no, I can't think of the word. It'll come to me when I'm, finished later and doing something completely different. But it's still very pretty regardless. And I was sort of thinking that it would be really nice, I think, if you made a shawl out of all these motifs. That could work, whether it be a triangle one or a rectangular one, it really wouldn't matter. Now we've got one more stitch to work into, so I'm going to do that. And we're going to count 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So I do have my 12 trebles. So now we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 to find our 4th chain, or you can come backwards this way and go 1, 2, and then it's a 3rd chain. And I usually go into the top 2 loops and have 1 loop. Whoops, split the yarn. I usually go in the top 2 loops and leave the 1 loop at the bottom there, rather than work into the space, but it just sort of anchors it a little bit better. So that's row 2. Very quick and easy. Now the next one, as I say, very long, very wordy, but it really is a lot easier. And you will note it says right at the end, omitting the last double crochet and chain 2 from the last repeat. So they've given you these instructions and they're telling you to repeat between the asterisks, but then they're saying on the last repeat you do, omit the last DC and chain 2. And this is why, because you start with the chain, you start with the double crochet and a chain 2. Yeah, I think sometimes patterns are made more complex than they need to be, but there you go. I won't complain because I don't write patterns myself. I've tried, but it can get really confusing because you want to make it sort of clear for people, but then you sort of think, oh dear. Anyway, so we're going to start with chain 5. 1, 2, 3. The 3 is our double crochet, and the 2 is our space. So once again, you might want to mark the 3rd chain so that you know that is your joining chain to slip into when you come back. And then it's telling us that we need to do a single crochet into the next space, which is this one. So we're going to do a single crochet and then a chain 2. And we're going to do that twice in total. So we're going to do we've already done it once, so we're only doing it once more. Single crochet and 2 chain. That's that part of the repeat. Then in the next space, it's telling us to do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. This is going to become a corner. So it's just like a normal granny square corner. 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. Well, it's normal for me. I do a chain 2. You might not. You might do 1 chain or even 3 chain. I know we all vary on that. Okay, then we're going to do a chain 2. So now it's telling us to repeat from the beginning of the asterisk, which is saying 1 single into the next space, which we're going to do, and 2 chain, that's the repeat, and then we've got to do that once more. So a single crochet and 2 chain. Into our next space, we're going to do a corner again, which is 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. And already you can see how quickly this is growing. It really does work up very quickly. It grows very quickly, and it's very, I think easy, probably easy to remember what you're doing with it too. And then chain 2, and then we've got our asterisks again. So it's telling us to go back and do it one more time. So single crochet, chain 2 twice, single crochet, chain 2, it's our second time, into the next space, another corner. It's a funny type of looking square. It's got sort of indents on the side. So it's not just standard straight-sided double crochet, granny square. Thinking I've got double crochets on the brain clearly. Oops. Okay. And we end with 2 chain, which is what our pattern here along the bottom here is telling us. Okay, right, now we're on our last repeat, and remember at the end it says omitting the last double crochet and the chain 2. That's because we started with it. That's why they don't want you to do it again. So we're going to go in, we're going to pick up, we're going to do a single crochet, 2 chain, single crochet, 2 chain. Then we are going to work into our last space, 3 double crochet, 2 chain, and just 2 double crochet. And then we're going to join to the 3rd chain that we started with. 1, 2, 3, or you can work back the other way, and you've got your 2 chain, and then the next stitch is the one you join to. Doesn't matter which way you work it, whichever's easiest for you to work it out. And I think actually having that join there is pretty good, because it is less obvious. I think they've put it in a good spot. So round 4, it's pretty much the same thing, except we are not we're repeating the single crochet, chain 2 3 times in total, not once. So this is how we start. We start with just a chain 1, which does not count as any stitch. We're going to go into this space, and this space with a single crochet. All right, and it's going to have 2 chain in between it. So single, chain 2, 1 repeat. Whoops. Single, chain 2, 2nd repeat. Single, chain 2, and that's our 3rd repeat. So that first section you see after the asterisk, it's coming up now. It says asterisk. In brackets, it's got 1 SC into next space, chain 2, twice. Twice more, that should say. Why does it say twice there? I haven't changed it. Dear me, I thought I clicked on it. I obviously didn't click on it hard enough. I apologize. All right, so let's get to that section again. So round 4, which is where we are. So it's 1 single crochet into the next space, chain 2, 3 times, which is what we've just done. Then we're going into the corner again with exactly the same. We're just going to do a normal granny square corner which is chain 3, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. And the repeat for this one also ends with the chain 2. Okay, so now we're going to start by going into our first space. We've got 3 spaces, so we're repeating this 3 times. Single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, chain 2. Well, that reminds me, I've got the package that arrived yesterday when I was sleeping and I haven't gotten it yet. Okay, back to our corner. See how quick this is? It really is just speeding along. And it's one that I, once I did one side, I was able to remember what I had to do for all the other sides. And, I love patterns like that. It just makes it really easy. So it's very wordy for a very simple pattern. And I think that's what puts a lot of people off learning to read patterns, to be honest. And I can understand that. Okay, so we're going to repeat again. Single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, chain 2, and another corner. Whereas the last round told us to omit some stitches in the repeat, this one doesn't. We can just work all the way to the beginning and it works out. So that's good. Chain 2 is our last part of the repeat. And then we are going to go into the space, the chain 1, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, chain 2. And we're doing our last corner because we've got a corner over here. So we're doing our last corner. And keep in mind, remember that there's always the ability for you to slow down, speed up, or whatever the video. So if you're not following me, if I'm going too fast or too slow or whatever, or you missed something I said, you can rewind it. And of course, the little ticker down the bottom is there with the written instructions for you as well. So you can follow along with that if you are finding me hard to follow verbally. I get it. It's the Aussie accent. That's what my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, so we're on our last repeat. No, actually, that's not written right. Because the last repeat is supposed to be that. Well, that I found a fault with that pattern. I just copied it straight from the stitch pattern book. So no, that's not right. Okay, well, we've got to do it one. Oh no, it is right. Here is our beginning single crochet. So it is right. So I've already done it 4 times. Wow, that was quick. So I find that first single crochet and I just slip stitch into that. And there we have, there we have our daisy wheel square. Oh no, I haven't finished. What am I doing? I've got a row to go. So you're going to have to forgive me. My brain is not functioning at peak capacity today. It's, yeah. Now, I could have written out the very, very wordy, extensively long instructions that they gave you for the 5th round, but I didn't. I basically just told you that they want you to do a single crochet. So you start with a, did I start to a chain already? No. They want you to do a single crochet into each single crochet, and into each 2 chain space, they want you to do 2 single crochets. Okay. When you get to the corners, they want you to do 3 single crochets in the 2 chain corners. and they want you to put a single crochet into each of the double crochets. So I think most experienced crocheters, hello Maggie, what you doing? I'm doing crochet. Would probably know that instinctively. They'd work around and they'd go, oh yeah, that's what I need to put into the spaces, because it's a 2 chain space and all that sort of thing. So you're doing, in this case, I've done a single crochet, 2 singles, 1 single, 2 singles, 1 single, 2 singles, then 1 into each of the 3 double crochets, and then 3 in the corner, just to help it go around. And so you're doing that all the way around to create a border. And 70s cooking show time again. Here's one I did earlier. So it's just single crochets all the way around. It's just to neaten it off, help it hold into place. And I think it's a really, really pretty, and as I said before, very quick to do square. I mean, you can get this done in under 20 minutes to doing one. No, Maggie, please don't rub against my camera, because then everything goes wobbly and everyone thinks there's an earthquake and there's not. No, 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 no. I'm going to go and stop this girl from shaking the camera and making us all seasick. Until next time, bye for now, and please take care. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It doesn't cost a thing to press the button. Thanks.